Okay, as promised last week, I'm going to talk to you about a magazine. But the interesting thing is that I'm not going to show you the magazine. I'll, I'll do that next week because I got to tell you a story first, which is David Brandstetter, who is a longtime friend of the family here at A Moment of Cerebus, creator of Straw Man, and he's the central mailer for UFO, United Fanzine Organization, which actually goes all the way back to the 1960s. And before him, the central mailer was Rob Imes, or Imus. I can never remember how to pronounce Rob's name. Who's also the editor and publisher of Ditkomania, which is part of UFO, the United Fanzine Organization. And they would send me their publication where they talk to each other, tetragrammaton fragments. And it was always very interesting following the discussions and what each of them had to say about the other guy's publication, latest one that came out. And it would tell people, you're overdue for putting out a fanzine in order to maintain your membership. You have this long to produce a fanzine, and this guy did produce a fanzine, this guy didn't. So very interesting to look at people who are just doing this as a hobby, really trying to put their noses to the grindstone. And what became interesting at one point was one of the United Fanzine Organization guys, who we will call Gavin DC, because that's his email address, and I don't know if he wants his full name being used, but he got accused of Islamophobia, excessive Islamophobia in his fanzines, and got voted off the island. Basically, you can't be in the United Fanzine Organization anymore because of these content issues with your Islamophobia. And of course, I'm reading this and going, okay, I'm definitely the opposite of an Islamophobe, since I read at least 100 pages out loud from the Quran every week, and pray 5 times a day, and fast in Ramadan. So it's one of those, yeah, there's no question about it. Gavin DC really doesn't like Islam, and definitely makes a vociferous case for how he really doesn't like Islam. So basically I tried to get my oar in the water and say, you disagree with the guy, but I don't think you want to get into the habit of voting people off the island. I mean, that's what the other team does, and you can see the mess that they're getting into with that, with cancel culture and stuff like that. I'm not a member of the United Fanzine Organization, but just trying to weigh in on it. And Gavin DC definitely had a few choice words for me, and about my being an Islamic apologist and useful idiot, and etc. etc. So anyway, to make a long story only slightly less long, when he got voted off the island, I made note of his address and sent him a check saying, please send me one of your publications. It's like, having read all of everybody's interpretation of what Gavin DC was doing, I wanted to see for myself. So sent him a check, and he sent me whatever the latest publication was that he was doing. And yeah, he really doesn't like Islam. So he sent me a magazine, his latest magazine, and reading it, the first article in the magazine is Islam in the Comics by Gavin C. With his full name. So I'm going to leave that as a cliffhanger. What do you think was my reaction to reading Islam in the Comics? And let's see now. 13-page article? Yeah, 13-page article, and then a two-page center spread, actually 4-page center spread, 4, 5, 6, 7-page center spread. I slam Islam. Get it? I slam Islam. Okay, so we'll leave it as a cliffhanger. What was Dave Sim's reaction, and what did he do about this magazine called Masks #1, a magazine about comics and current affairs? We'll pick it up from there and leave you a week to go. What did Dave Sim do? So I hope we'll see a bunch of you back here next week, God willing.